What's up, everybody? Dr. Perry Bard here, and in conjunction with Dr. Eric Kaplan, we want to welcome you to our kickoff 2025 Zoom meeting. And I promised you it was going to be a little bit different, and it is a little bit different. Now, I know what you're thinking right now because I'm watching the comments right now, and that is, I'm digging Dr. Kaplan's glasses. And I'm digging all his swag. Yep, that's the comments. That's what it says. So, you're probably wondering what's going on here, and I'm happy to share with you openly. A lot of you know, some of you don't, that our son, believe it or not, just returned from a place called Cabo San Lucas. Cabo San Lucas. Now that's in Mexico. He just had a great time. If you've ever been, I've never been. It's beautiful. And guess what? He brought me back a gift. And this is actually the gift that he brought back. Now, he's on this Zoom meeting right now with us. So, you know, when somebody gives you a gift, you kind of want to always honor them. And you want to, like, if they give you something, you want to wear it. But honestly, if you thought, I was going to do it that way, well, guess what? We got a lot to do. We got a lot of stuff to share, to show, to give. We got surprises for you. I love the simple fact that our family is with us on here. So we're going to just jump right into it. And thank you for everybody for muting yourself. Keep yourself muted. If there's an opportunity for ask questions, you can put them in the comments box. And let's see, just make sure everybody is muted. Are you guys all muted? Please make sure you're all muted, like you. Yeah, and you.
Boy, he don't look different with that scruffy beard.
And how about that? And Dr. Oh, yeah, Dr. Delgado. Yeah, thank you, brother. Thank you for muting yourself, everybody, which is great. I know. I said I'm not shaving till I got a chance to see Dr. Kaplan. Do you know the last time I was with Dr. Kaplan was Thanksgiving night? My BFF together. We got some crazy cool stuff to give you, share with you, show you, and to set the table for 2025 and so much more. So let's just jump right into it. And I want to share my screen with you. And let's see. Here we go. Can I see that? Is that here? Come on, baby. Let's go. All right. Here we go. So can everybody see that? Raise your hand if you can see it. Can you see it?
Earbuds plugged in.
Oh, you can see it? All right. And please make sure, otherwise they're going to kick you out. I kid you not. They have tight security here. So make sure you're muted. Please make sure that you're muted. And if you're muted, then guess what? Life will be good. All right. So, all right. So here we go. All right. So we're off to the races. So take a look. And as you know, write this down. Grab your pen. If you want to set the course in motion, if you want to create a map, a plan, a blueprint, a vision, then write this down, www.thecairoevent.com. And if you're able and you're fortunate enough to grab some seats, the date is January 25th, 2025. It will be completely sold out. So many of you have scooped up tickets already. So for the remaining seats, if I'm you, I already bought it right here, right now while I'm doing it. I'm going to multitask while I'm doing it. So you can do that. All right. So what I'd like to do is this. I'm going to see if I can do this real quick. I'm going to change that around a little bit. Okay. So let's go. All right. So as you know, the format of this Zoom meeting will be completely different than anything you've ever experienced before, seen before, or we have done before. So we're going to give a lot of examples. We're going to give a lot of direct content, and we're formatted this in a Q&A session. And as a result, obviously, we want you not just to take the information from the Zoom meeting, but we want you to research everything. We want you to do your diligence, because that's what great doctors do. And all of you are great doctors. So this, as I mentioned, is different than anything we've ever done before. The reason being is because this is the first time ever that we are doing kind of what we call an ESK and PMB Zoom meeting. Now, if you're curious what ESK stands for, those are Dr. Kaplan's initials. That's correct. But it's also an acronym, and the acronym is Experts Start with Knowledge. Now, if you want to be an expert in spinal disc and non-surgical spinal decompression and peripheral neuropathy and knee cases and cash cases, in managing the toughest cases and overcoming objections, increasing conversions, and so much more, You want to be an expert in your field of study. And it starts here, right now. Now, believe it or not, PMB, those are my initials. And that's an acronym for Pick My Brain. But the truth of it is this. You're not necessarily going to pick my brain tonight. Guess whose brain you're going to pick? That's right. The highlight of every chiral event, and especially every boot camp, is when doctors around the room fire off rapid fire questions, Dr. Kaplan, and they pick his brain. And because he is the ultimate end all be all source of all goodness when it comes to knowledge, content, tools, clinical data, medical research, research studies, history, experience, and those unique case presentations, I'm always like mind blown when I hear his answers, because a lot of times his answers are never the same way twice. You're going to experience that here live on our Zoom meeting here tonight. You get a chance to pick the brain, which I think is so, so cool, and more. So let's see if that works. All right. So question number one, everything starts with a question, right? It really does. And here's the question we're going to ask you. Are you ready? I mean, are you really ready? Now, for so many of you who know a little background, a little story, obviously you caught the mask that was given to me from Dr. Justin Bard from Campo St. Lucas, who is on our meeting here with us, and a little reference to something special that happened last night. But it's 3 simple words. And the truth is this: you need to ask yourself, are you ready? Are you ready to grow? Are you ready to be? Are you ready to do? Are you ready to have? Are you ready to change the course of your practice? Are you ready to do something you've never done before? And everything starts above, down, inside out. When I went to Life College, that's what we were taught. I graduated in 1986. That's a long time ago. And when Dr. Sid Williams said the words, you're going to know, that you're going to know. We were so lucky to go to school during a special time. Thank you, Dr. Fogarty. Thank you, Lily, for being with us on this. As you know, the Board of Trustees and the President of the Board of Trustees, we're honored to have with us here. We have so many of our family of doctors with us here tonight. I'm not going to acknowledge them all, but thank you for being with us. But the question is this, the truth is this: are you ready? 2025, very simple. It's a brand new year. It's a brave new world. It's a bold new future. If, one word, 2 letters, if you have a plan, if you have intent, if you have focus, desire, drive, energy, passion, love, and so much more. I was so lucky, a lot of you know, 37 years ago, I became the associate doctor of Dr. Eric Kaplan 37 years ago, put him in my life, and life was never, ever the same. And guess what? It just kept getting better and better and better. And if you're wondering who that handsome guy is at the bottom of the screen, that's Dr. Jason Kaplan. Yes, he rocks, he rolls. He might even answer some of the questions. 37 years old, multi-million-dollar practice, 1,700 square feet. Every room of his office is tricked out. And when his beautiful, beautiful wife, Dr. Stephanie, and his incredible family, who, by the way, some of you know this, most of you don't. Dr. Kaplan now is not 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, but 4-time grandfather. And he just had his first grandson not that long ago. And it was named, if you want to know his grandson's initials, if this doesn't give you goosebumps, nothing will. Guess what his initials are? E-S-K. And I have a feeling the knowledge begins right here, right now. The fact is this. The fact is you don't have to look anywhere else. You don't have to do anything else. You don't have to search. It's all right in the palm of your hands. It is like the Wizard of Oz. You have it all inside you. The reality is this. When you went to chiropractic school, you were taught 3 things, just like all of us. You were taught the study of bone. You were taught the study of disc. You were taught the study of nerve. And here's the reality of our business. So many of you get out of the lane. You know what I'm talking about. You get out of your lane. I promise you this. You will learn this from Dr. Kaplan. If you stay in your lane, you can build the biggest practice of your dreams in spinal disc, in bone, in nerve. He'll show you how to put that together. So much more. So guess what? Dr. Kaplan, I'll tell you what. I want to do this. Let's do this. There you are, my brother. And it's great to see you. I have to say, it's great to see you. For all those reasons and more, which eventually more of you will know the story. But for now, nobody and I mean nobody on the planet, has got who really, I would say, wrote the book, literally wrote the book on how to succeed in this business. Now, there was a movie and a play many years ago. It's called How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. You can look it up. Well, the fact is that you have to try. It all starts with intent. But nobody has put together the resume, lives by the code of chiropractic. Above, down, inside out, the power that made the body heals the body. He quotes that to me. He told me that yesterday on the phone. He reminded me of the power of what we do, what we have to give, share, show, and do. And guess what I did 30 minutes before I got on the Zoom meeting? And you could ask him, I got adjusted. Yeah. I got adjusted by the same table I had in 1983 that just got reupholstered. True story, by our son. Oh, God, I could talk about Dr. Kaplan all night. But guess what? I have questions that hundreds of you sent in over the past few weeks and few months. I selected, he has no idea. I selected a top 10 to 15. We could do literally 5 Zoom meetings and not cover all the questions. So we're going to fire them, rapid fire. I have no idea what he's going to say. Some of them are clinical, some of them are procedural, some are business, and some are from the heart. Ooh. Are you ready, Dr. K?
Hey, born ready.
So let's have some fun with it. And let's do this. So we are off to the races. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to start with the first question. And come on, baby. Here we go. The first question is this. Is an MRI necessary to start a patient on a spinal decompression program? The closest MRI center has a cash price of $750. Wow. Can I get a better price? Thank you. That was sent in by Dr. Vigliarolo. Thank you, Dr. Vigliarolo, for sending that in.
Well, everything begins in the beginning. And before I answer the questions, I'm going to move into a little thing of what I call more. And everybody can sit down and write the word more down, M-O-R-E, because it's a new year. So happy new year, happy new you. And if I'm sitting there, I want more. I want more new patients. I want more income. I want more success. I want more of everything that you would want. And I break it down to, how do you break down more? Well, there's a few ways. Well, one is M is for marketing, and O is for your operation, R is for research, and E is for excellence. And, Perry gave you my initials, which excellence and success equals knowledge. And knowledge is a very important thing, because for all of our clients out there, you should have gotten the videos. If not, email myself and Dr. Barr for the three C's: the capture, the conversions, and the close. I mean, the reason it's so important, the conversion and the close is so important, is because I can't tell you how many people I speak to all the time that want to talk about conversion. And that's why I'm bringing that to the first one, the MRI. Now, when we went to school, I can look at an X-ray and I can tell if the disc is in trouble. Matter of fact, Jason sent me one today, and it was very interesting. The MRI looked a lot worse than the X-ray. Now, the X-ray showed decreased disc space in L5S1. Could I have generated a report of findings from that X-ray? The answer is yes, yes, and yes. Remember, chiropractic doctors never disappears. And that's when I talk about the conversion and the close. Because many times I can say to a patient when they're hesitant, okay, or before the MRI comes in, I can say, listen, we will start with basic chiropractic care. Basic chiropractic care, because there's levels of everything. I mean, Perry and I handicap doctors in the way golfers handicap golfers. Now, the reason that we're able to get a lower price at MRIs is because, we have 250 centers in 45 states. So we go to the MRI center and say, listen, we're part of Disc Centers of America. We're in 45 states, and we'd like to get the Medicare reimbursable rate for cash patients. Now, why is that important? Because when you get an MRI and the MRI shows positives, as the one that Jason sent me today, what it makes for is an easier close. So can I close it from an X-ray alone? Yes. But would the conversion be better from an MRI? Yes, because that's what you want. And one of the charts that we show them all the time, it shows the positivity of MRIs and how people that can be asymptomatic or minorly symptomatic, and they can have a positive MRI. So the answer is yes, you can get a better cash price. All of our doctors, not 10%, not 20%, 100% get better prices on MRIs. But with that, you have to understand that the research and the knowledge, as Perry said in the ESK, is so important. And when we wrote the book, doctors, this took myself, my partner, Dr. Barr, and I 10 years to write. Not 1 year, 2 years, 10 years. And then we wrote a student edition of which all of the profits, 100% will go to Life University. And I'm giving them the ability to have this book, which is the book that we did, which even Dr. Devin Barr, Double D, helped us with. Now, when I go into the book, doctors, and I talk about contraindications, page 21, the Nicholson pressure, 127, the WHO on counterfeit things that they utilize in surgery, 135, the adjustment helps, 133. That's the Kirkley and Willis program. So we'll talk about the Nicholson study, the Shilley Bergmeyer study, the Wasserman study. Now, and what's the difference? Well, the Shilley Bergmeyer study talked about the difference between traction and decompression. The Shilley Wasserman study showed that after a year, that people maintain their integrity, as did the Boudreaux study. When you know the studies, you can speak to people about the Ghost Nosquaski study, which was done over 750 people, you have credibility. And what the MRIs have done, doctors, as well as other modalities, is like the Ironman study, a neuroradiologist. These are not just chiropractic studies. These are medical studies. And you need to have these studies and present them to the patients. And we do that to our clients. We do it in pretty booklets. I hope you can see these. And 8.9 out of 10 has satisfaction. And where was that? Doctors from Stanford and Johns Hopkins. Stanford and Johns Hopkins. What about this one? Disc reduces disc herniation size up to 90%. Who's there? Shilley Bergmeyer. And they did that versus traction. So there are so many studies that you need to know, because if you understand, doctors, that the facts are that 53% of L5 S1 surgeries fail to reduce relief of symptoms. 70% of all, they did a study of people with lumbar herniations from 4 to 17 years, one of the largest studies done, 575 patients, and they still had back pain after surgery. Among spinal surgery patients, 1 in 4, 25%, are dissatisfied with their results post-op. And what happens is, then when you talk about the additional surgery, the second surgery, doctors, is only a 35% success rate. So when I'm talking about my conversion of my clothes, so I go by the MRI, the medical necessity of the MRI, and I show them that, basically, in my report of findings, doctors, they can have a choice. Listen, if you want to take a basic approach, I'll do basic chiropractic care on you, but it will not contain the problem. If you want me to deal with the disc, if you want me to deal with the positive MRI, and that's something you can only show from an MRI, because even though you can point out and the disc is involved, the MRI shows you the severity of the disc, the severity of the disc. Is it a bulge? Is it herniation? Do they have annular tears? I mean, and one of the ones I looked at today that my son sent me, yes, they had all the above. Now, do you know, doctors, last year, okay, that there were 81,900,000 people suffering from back pain at a cost, doctors, of 138.6 billion. Are you kidding me? Neck, 180 million people. And outside of COVID and the flu, it's one of the leading causes of hospitalization in our country. And you have to know that, because, see, if a person doesn't understand the severity of their problem, what the MRI does, it gives you a blueprint. Many people, it might be one of the questions, what's the best angle? Doctors, the best angle is the tri-angle, T-R-Y. That's the best angle. You got to try certain things. This is not rompo peel, set it and forget it. So for all of my doctors, you should have the 3C videos, watch them this new year. If you're a guest and you come to a Chiro event, I will give you those videos. Absolutely free, no charge. For all of my doctors, you should have received the Gold Book. If you haven't, send me an email. I will send you the goal book. For all of my guests tonight, come to a Cairo event, and I'll give you the goal book because goal setters are goal getters. Next question, Perry. I'm on a roll. Rock me up.
So obviously I think we hit a nerve because I'm getting my phone is lighting up. Obviously, you guys like this format. Wait till you see the other questions. The answer to your questions is number one, yes. Yes, this is a good format. So, and number two, www.thechiro. The question was, are there still seats available? There are 5 as count of tonight, this live, there are 5 seats left. I anticipate they'll all be gone by the time we get to the end of this. You can look at how many participants you have here, and I think we set a record. So let's dive right back into it, into question number 2. And let's take a look here and see. Here we go. Ready? Question number 2. Come on, baby. Let's go. What is your preferred spinal decompression? Oh, this is a good one. What is your preferred spinal decompression table if you were starting a practice? I have a basic table and want to improve my patient outcomes. Thank you, Dr. Wurtenberg. I think I'm saying that right, Dr. Wurtenberg, for sending that question in. Dr. K?
Well, I mean, listen, everything is based, again, Perry talked about excellent systems knowledge. Everything is based upon research. I deal with a lot of medical people. My son deals with a lot of medical people. My son, Jason, has actually worked on pretty much every table. He worked on a DRX, which I think is an excellent table. My table of preference, I always tell people, is the active spinal. Why? Very simply, because the patents and the protocols were written by Norman Shealy, who taught at Harvard Medical School. So when I sit down with my medical people and I talk about that, and I talk about the Shealy protocols, and I give them the Shealy research. You see, one of the things, Perry, that bothers me in this new year, I'm like everybody else. Listen, I'm reading all the chiropractic magazines. Can they see this, Perry?
Yep.
Okay. And I'm reading all the chiropractic magazines. And you know what? It's amazing, okay, that chiropractic comes so diluted. Everything is about, I'm not going to mention the name, but it could be a color. I mean, I'm seeing Invisired. Listen, I'm not against weight loss if you're doing a spa, but doctors, bone, disc, and nerve, why are people moving to outside of what you knowledgeable? Let me tell you something. When it comes to weight loss, I was the president of Nutrisystem. I'll talk weight loss with any chiropractor, any medical doctor, any person in America. Okay? You want to talk about that, you want to talk about laser, but let me tell you what. As an expert, when it comes to bone, nerve, and disc, when it comes to decompression, that's your focus, doctors. And I'm going to tell you, if you don't listen, there's an old Chinese proverb that says, "He who chases 2 rabbits at the same time catches neither." What is your focus? On Wall Street, we learned what your focus must be. It must be on bone, nerve, and disc. And if you are not focused, doctors, then you will have trouble. Remember what I said, the 3 C's? With the clothes. I'm not against starting people on basic chiropractic care, but I'm going to let them know that that's not the solution. That's a Band-Aid. It's a Band-Aid. But I will so you know what? Because no one likes a hard sell. That's the conversion to the clothes. So I can say, listen, I'll give you 2 choices here. And the third choice, really 3 choices, because you're not going to like the third choice. And I'll do this in my report of findings. The first choice is, listen, we can start with basic chiropractic care. It might give you some relief. Listen, chiropractic works. Don't ever doubt it. Take a hard bone off a soft nerve, the power of that. But however, if you want to get more results, and if you want to go by the Shealy-Bergmeyer study, if you want to go by the Adele study, if you want to go by the Wasserman study, if you want to go by the Ironman study, then you have to realize that decompression will give them a longer line of relief. Meaning, why do we need new patients? Because they're better when they're under care, but then when they stop care, the problem comes back and they think that you, the chiropractor, failed. They think that you failed. And that's where the table is so important, because the table is based upon research. And I can go through it, meaning if you want to know, the studies go, the lowest study on anything, because I look at these people, my clients, doctors, and they sell 10-visit programs. Do you know why you sell a 10-visit program? Because you don't have confidence. Do you know why you sell a 10-visit program? You haven't done the research. The lowest visit program, believe it or not, was done by a chiropractor, which was Dr. Yoakum. And his research study was on 17 visits. Not 5, not 10. Now, the largest was done by Dr. Ironman, a neuroradiologist, who's 40 visits. But if you want to know, Ramos was 20 visits, Beatty was 24, Gostomowski was 20 and 35 visits. I mean, Gehring was 28 visits. You have to know the research, doctors, and show them, as we give them charts that shows that healing takes time. We show this chart. We give this out at the boot camp. If you come to the event, I will give you this chart, doctors. And you have to show it to the patient, because I'll tell you what, listen, I love chiropractic. And you know, but people do not get better. Listen, Harvey Lillard is a phenomenal man. And because of Harvey Lillard, we're probably all here today. But you know what? Yes, there are miracles in our practice, but it's also a miracle. Miracles aren't a day-to-day occurrence. Yet miracles happen in your office every day, but some miracles take more time. One of the things that Father Anatelli taught me when I played basketball for St. Aloysius, he said, God's delays are not God's denials. It takes time. Healing takes time. And you have to show this to the patient. And that's why I like the Leslie study from the Mayo Clinic, because the Leslie study gives you a chart. We give this out at boot camp. You know, there are a lot of advantages to the brand. You want to be the best? Write this word down. I gave you more. What is more? Marketing, operations, research, and excellence. What is the best? Best brand, best equipment, best systems, best technology. So I prefer the Acuspina table. Why? I'll tell you why. It's a great brand. It's a family-owned company. My son has 4 of them. We just ordered a 5th one. That's what it is. And I've never had one client ever have that table and not love it. Medical doctors, when they came to me, Dr. Rob Burke, neuroradiologist, and we have a lot of exciting things in the next year, because we're going to have, every one of our clients is going to get 1 video a month of educational material. Perry's going to go into this. But you know what? He has me on a roll, so I'm just going to keep going. But with that, okay, one of the things that I learned from Rob Burke is, before he became a patient, he says, show me the research. Show me the white papers. Whatever table you have, doctors, you need to have the research associated with the table. And Norman Shealy says, if the research was not done on the table, you know, and listen, no difference to Chattanooga. And it's okay. It's a traction table. You know, if you want to look at the Hood study, the Matthews study, they'll show you that traction is okay. But the Shealy-Bergmeyer study shows a 50% success rate with traction, where you had a 90% success rate of excellence with decompression. That's a 40% difference, doctors. 40% is a large number. Next question, Perry. I'm going, baby.
You bet. I'm so excited for the next question, and I have to give a formal apology. I'm sorry, but I was just given a notice, and obviously you know that Zoom has a limit of, our limit is 100 seats, and you had a lot of more people register. So apparently a bunch of people are getting closed out. Some people came in, came out. I apologize for the people that got closed out, but hey, you were wise enough, sharp enough, smart enough, savvy enough, and entrepreneurial enough to be with us here live. So congratulations to everybody. And
well, you know, Perry, you know what that reminds me of?
I'm sorry?
You know what that reminds me of?
What's that?
The event. Listen, you got 5 seats left.
That's exactly right.
If 5 seats aren't filled by people, guess what? We're closed.
Exactly right.
Why? Because that's how we worked. There are rules and regulations that we do. Example being, it's held at the property of Trump. Trump is now the new president of the United States. If you saw the security doctors, helicopters fly above to make sure that there is no crazy people in the woods. So we have to have the people. I have to give them the list. I have to sign my life away that these are all doctors and real people or their families. So yes, I mean, yes, there are restrictions, doctors, but you know what? It'll be the best one day you've ever experienced. If you want to grow, doctors, if you're not part of our family, you want to grow, you want to be more, let me tell you, you want more motivation, you want more organization, you want more results, then you know what? And more energy, you come to the Cairo event. That's my other more. I got a lot of mores for you tonight. Some
Saturday,
people like
January. Saturday, January. It's all about more, baby. One of my favorite 4-letter words. Saturday, January 25th. And let's call, in the great words of Dr. Kaplan, let's call a spade a spade. If we have to motivate you any more than just showing up here live at the Zoom meeting to join us in beautiful, sunny, tropical, warm, beach, ocean, when you're freezing your nuts off in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, Manitoba, Canada, Burnsville, Minnesota. Can't wait to see you, Dr. White. So great talking to you before. You're going to be there. So much more. It's if you want to kickstart it the right way, but listen, life favors the action takers. Let's dive into the next question. I'm so curious. Let's see what it is. It's very awesome, I must say myself. Check it out. I've read your spinal, number 3. I've read your spinal decompression 800-page book, and it's my go-to text. Wow. Thank you, Doc. Do you have a top 3 of research studies for spinal decompression? You are awesome. This was sent in by Dr. Brock. Thank you, Dr. Brock, for sending that question is. Dr. K, what are your top 3 favorites?
Well, you know what? I don't have a top 3 favorites. And I'm going to tell you why. Because in an 800 and how many pages is it? 800 and I got to open the book here. It's so heavy. And 800 and oh my God, I'm getting a hernia here. 803 pages. I'm going to tell you. You want to talk about contraindications. You want to talk about Nackman study, the Ackman study, the Bergman study, the Wasserman study. Then you have the Shealy study, the Shealy-Kaladia study, the Shealy-Wasserman study, the Shealy other study, the Gosnowski study, the Opel study, the Marcaro study, the Puglisi study. I mean, these are from top doctors. Do I have a favorite 3? The answer is, let me tell you my favorite one. Get the dang book. That's my favorite one because I'm going to tell you, I am not of the thing, doctors, that I believe that more is more. The more you know, the more talented you become. The more you invest, listen, the best investment you will ever make, we invest in our cars. Doctors, invest in your practice. Invest in your education. Invest. How much did it pay to go to chiropractic school? And I'm telling you, and let me tell you, Perry and I don't argue much. We really don't. I mean, he's the most greatest partner in the world, and I'm blessed to have a great partner, great wife, great sons, sometimes one better than the other. That's you, Jason. Don't tell Michael I said that. But with all of that, doctors, what I'm saying is, and then, to get a book that's a few $100s or to come to a seminar, I said, Perry, raise the price of the seminar. No. You know why? Because, there's a weakness. The middle class of chiropractic doctors has gone away. That's why when I look in these books, there's nothing on technique. The only thing on technique was my article on decompression. But I'll tell you, you want to learn about weight loss? Well, let me tell you, I was at Nutrisystem. I know weight loss. Everything is about equipment. Oh, what about oxygen? Chiropractors, listen, they have everything but bone, nerve, and disc in their name. They have functional medicine. They have weight loss. I'm going to tell you, doctors, let's not forget where the core is. A hard bone on a soft nerve creates pathology. There are 5 components of a subluxation: kinesiopathology, neuropathology, myopathology, pathophysiology, and neuropathology. And you have to know those, doctors. Why? Because if you visualize it, doctors, if you visualize it like I do, as we do in this chart here, doctors, okay, what happens is if the vertebrae goes out of place, kinesiopathology, then it's putting pressure on the disc, which is histopathology. Then it's irritating the nerve, which is neuropathology. Then it's affecting the organs and the systems, which is pathophysiology, which is why, doctors, I wrote the best-selling book, Awaken the Wellness Within, and I talk about that. It's the chiropractic book. It's on Amazon. Get it. How's this? Come to the Chiro event. I'll give you one. I'll even have Perry sign it for you. Listen, that's how I roll. My signature costs $1 more. Next question.
It's spot on. The answer to the question is, we'll put these tools in your hand. We want you empowered. We want you knowledgeable. We want you confident. We want you focused. We want you hungry. We want you passionate. We want you dedicated to all your patients. But that comes from knowledge. So yes, we will put the books in your hand physically. Our gift, nothing to sign. www.thechirovent.com, October 25th, and so much more. Let's dive back in. And life favors the ones that want it, see it, know it, and want to do something to create a legacy. And that's all Dr. Kaplan and I ever wanted to do. We wanted to pay it forward, and we wanted to make it great for our peers, and so much more. Next question. Check it out. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so do you feel that certification is as important for my staff as it is for myself as a doctor? I've attended your national certification, loved it, very cool, and want a true staff-driven practice. Thank you, Dr. Levy, I think is who sent it in. Dr. Levy. Yep. So great question.
Well,
Dr. K.
that I'll tell you why that's a great question. And the answer is yes and yes. And we do have certifications throughout the year. We'll be having one. You can contact down the road at Life University. We'll have another one down in Florida in October, away. But certification is important for staff, and I'm going to tell you why. Do you know, doctors, one of the two reasons that chiropractors get sued for malpractice is because of disc-related injury. Not for the treatment of, doctors, more for the misdiagnosis of. And then the first question the attorney is going to say is, what table do you utilize? Well, you taught that table in school. Who puts them on the table? Who takes them off the table? Now, according to Dr. Sal LaRusso, who's one of the leading expert witnesses in America, and someone that I try to meet for lunch once a month, who's really just been a total asset to the profession, someone that I endear myself to and learn a lot from as we share knowledge. But he would say yes, because most times it's the staff that puts them on the table. It's the staff that takes them off the table. And we are, to my knowledge, we're the only national certification program that's held in a university. So according to Sal, you must have that because you want to say, I brought my staff and they were nationally certified through a major university. Very important. Very important. You need, because listen, all the table companies, hopefully, if you buy a real table, they will come to your office and they will certify you on that table. Now that's good. That means that you know how to use the table. But the national certification means, because we talk about all the tables and we about how to put them on. What if you have a Chattanooga table? What if you have a Dock table? What if you have a Kennedy table? We want to show you there are differences. No difference. Does a Ford drive the same as a General Motors product? The same as a European car? No. I mean, some have more cruise control. Some have more computer graphics. These are important, and your people need to be certified because anyone who's dealing with the patient, putting them on the machine, taking them off the machine, that's doing it needs to be certified. But also, doctors, it gives them pride when they say, I'm certified through a university. And we take very great pride in doing that. And doctors, I will tell you, and you could write, Gilles Lamarche or them, I don't take money from Life University for doing this. I donate my time. I pay my own expenses. I donate my money. Why? Because I said it's the only way that chiropractic will survive, doctors, is not in weight loss. It's not in functional medicine. We survive, doctors, by going back to our basics, bone, nerve, and disc. And all decompression is doing, doctors, is we're dealing with bone, nerve, and disc. And that's what we do. And that's what we teach. My job is not to make you a better salesman. It's to make you a better doctor. And the reason that people have trouble with the clothes, it's about confidence. It's about confidence. You want to hit me with the next question, Perry? Go ahead.
You bet.
Because this could be a two-part program.
It absolutely can, and there's some crazy good questions. This is an interesting question from Dr. Davis. I have two lasers. One is a cold 3 laser, and or class 3 cold laser, and one is a class 4 laser. Do you have a preference in spinal decompression cases, and why? Interesting question.
The answer is yes, yes, and yes. And I'm going to tell you, let me explain to you something, doctors. Different lasers have different facilities. A class 3B laser, and I recommend Microlite. And if you don't have one, you can call Mike Barber from Microlite and let him know we recommended him. And you can't hurt someone with a class 3 laser. And we like that, and it's hands-free. However, a class 4 laser, you're going to get greater penetration. So what I like to do is, if they're acute, I might start them on a class 4 laser, which will run for 6 to 8 minutes. And the ones we use is Neuromed. We like them because it's hands-free, and it's probably 33 1/3 to 40% less than a K laser. we get prices for our clients. We take care of our clients. We want our clients to get the best technology. The 3B laser, we like it. I have one at home. But when I'm really hurting, I'll go to Jason's office and he'll hit me with the class 4. So it'll take 4 times less time on a class 4, but it's a much more structured laser. What I like about the Neuromed, it's hands-free. What I like about the Microlight, it's hands-free. So my belief is for every decompression table that you have, you need at least one laser, and then you need to have another laser for other treatments that you provide in your office. Meaning, if I'm doing a knee program, I want a class 4 laser. If I'm doing a shoulder program, I want a class 4 laser. So you have to understand what's the difference between acute and chronic. And lasers have a purpose, no different than a baseball player. He wants a fastball, he wants a curveball, he wants a changeup. No different than when we talk about shockwave. Does it have benefits? Without a doubt, but for different conditions. And that's what we work on and training our doctors all the time. And we'll continue to do that. Next question.
Number 6, I want to improve my conversion. Oh, this is interesting. I want to improve my conversion or acceptance rate of spinal decompression cases. I do okay, but after 12 years in practice, I could be doing better. I have it. Oh, very cool. I have a seat for your Cairo event on January 25th. I'm excited to meet you finally. Thank you, Dr. Pratt. We're looking forward to seeing you as well. Yeah, conversion. Dr. K, can you talk about this?
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, I mean, conversions is the close. And if you want to write down my acronym to close, because I love acronyms because these, remember, the C stands for confidence. The L says you have to know the level of pathology that, going back to question number 1, that an X-ray and an MRI will show you the level of pathology. The O stands for your organization. If you're not organized, doctors, the patients can tell it. The S, doctors, stands for your systems, meaning and success. The E stands for your excellence of practice. You have to know what it is, and that's what we want. Acceptance of conversion, doctors, comes with confidence, and it's understanding the ESK, excellence, systems, with knowledge. That's what it comes down to. And I will promise you, anyone that comes to the boot camp or the Cairo event, they will walk away excited, and they will walk away with more knowledge, and they will be better. And that's why doctors, listen, you don't want to come? Get the book, thebestthisbook.com. It's a start, but you know what? Reading something and implementing something are 2 different things. When I went to school, Perry, they didn't have decompression. When I went to school, there was no MRIs. But if there's one thing that you know about me over my, 40 some odd years, I graduated in 1978. God, who can do the math? I'm so old. One of the things that I learned is by studying. And I mean, I've been inside of every machine. And I'm going to tell you something. Who knows more about the machines than me is my son, Dr. Jason Kaplan. He could take them apart and put them back together. And to my clients, listen, if you have a technical question, call Jason. Ask him the questions. I will tell you he's more talented than I am. I'm better looking. He's more talented. Next question.
So I have an idea. Totally impromptu for fun. If he's up to it. I don't know what the next question is, but Dr. JK, you can, if you like, I would love to hear your opinion. If you want to take the question, yes. If you want to pass, you can pass. I think it's very cool. But to answer your question, because who just bought a seat? Yeah. So just so you know, Dr. Schultz, your grandfather did. You don't have to buy a seat. Just so you know, a bunch of people have already bought seats already. So just so you know, just to answer the question that I was given, the boot camp the day before, Friday, January 24th, is for our family of doctors only. Nuts and bolts, A to Z, comprehensive meat and potatoes, all new, incredibly new stuff. 99% of you already have seats. I believe it's closed out. They already added another date for March for boot camps, but the Cairo event is open to everybody if there are seats available. So go to www.thecairoevent.com, try to grab a seat. And Dr. JK, are you ready? And C, no, you can take it, or you can pass. I'm gonna pin you. There you are, brother. And you look great. Happy New Year. And I can't wait to hear all about you know who. ESK. 2. Now, I don't know if can everybody hear? Can we hear you? Can everybody hear Dr. JK? Can you just talk a little bit real quick?
Yes. Can
All right,
everybody-
perfect. Perfect. They can hear. All right, next question. Ready? Drum roll, please. Let's see. Okay, this is interesting. Let's see. All right, so this is one your dad loves, All right, listen, you want to jump into the deep end of the pool. It is what it is. It's great. All right, so this is interesting. I think you're going to get two opinions here. This is interesting. I have a patient who presented with acute LBP, low back pain, also affecting her with pain in her L5S1 dermatome. Her MRI shows a 2 mm herniation L5S1 or 5 mm herniation at L2, L3. Which area would you direct her spinal decompression care to? This is a very interesting clinical question. And Dr. JK, you're not alone on it. Of course, Dr. ESK is with you as I am. But far away, brother.
Always, always, always start at the bottom and you work your way up. All the lower back pain comes from L4, L5. So if the pain or if the patient has pain presenting at the L5, S1 level, even though it's a smaller disc herniation, that's a level I would actually treat. I would get the patient out of pain first. Then if they're having symptoms from the L2, L3 disc, I work my way up. But you always start at the weight bearing. So always start at the L5, and then you work your way up from there. But always treat the pain problem first, and always start at the bottom and go up. Never start at the top and go down.
God, I love that answer. Dr. ESK?
Listen, when you're talking to the master, I'm just sitting here enjoying every moment of my son and saying, how proud can a man be? Give him another question.
Yeah, you want to? It's so interesting because
I'm going to relax.
Yeah, that's a very common presentation, right? Where the medical facts findings are maybe not consistent with the medical history, the case presentation, the clinical findings. But I love, love, love. Listen, if I'm a patient and I snuck on this Zoom meeting, I am so in love with you right now because of the fact that I know you're all about me. You want to get me out of pain. And for those who know, all the tools that he has in his office, it is the most tricked out 1,700 square foot office. And here's the best part. Ready? If you're fortunate enough to grab a seat at thechiroevent.com, there's a rumor, you can say yay or nay, that you're going to be there Saturday, January 25th to answer these types of questions. Is that a fact?
Yes.
I think we should raise the price of the ticket.
And just
I've been telling you
I
that.
put a zero on it after
I've been
that.
telling you that for 2 years, for God's sakes.
That's a great.
That's why we call him Perry. Perry's other nickname is Perry Claus.
Great.
I mean, he is the most giving man I've ever known, giving and loving this great profession that we live in. It's a phenomenal profession. And, if I had to add one thing to Jason's thing, doctors, and the examination will tell you if the pain is in the anterior portion of the leg, then we know that in the examination that we know that it's upper lumbar. If the pain is in the lower in the back of the leg, then we know it's other. But Jason's answer is, see, what Jason understood better than anybody is you can't set it and forget it. No two patients are the same. And sometimes, doctors, you have to be aware of that. And that's where Jason is very helpful to our doctors. I know people like Kate McDonough and other people call him all the time. And we love you, Kate. And I'm glad you're here tonight. And, you should be here. And I'm telling you, he really does it on a day-to-day basis. And give him another question. Heck,
For sure.
Put him past the work.
You ready? Drum roll. Here we go. Let's see.
I want to throw one thing into that very first question. Number one, I have a cash price of $250 for all MRIs. The highest I've seen them is about $300. But as long as you ask for the Medicare rate, you should get around $250 to $300 for an MRI. And I have that price negotiated with every center in town. So
and it's so interesting because I know that I love when patients throw you and Dr. Kaplan, I'm sorry, doctors throw you and Dr. Kaplan curveballs on when patients will say things like, I don't know if I can afford that, and how creative you and your dad have been. And I love how you tackle that at boot camps, the Chiro event, and more. Check this out. Here's another question. Okay, so this is interesting. This is right up your alley. I presently own one spinal decompression table and know you have many doctors that have 5, 6, 7. We have a doctor that has 13 of them and adding. and more. How do I know when to add another table? Dr. Kaplan, how do you know?
When the first table is full.
It's a great
You know,
answer.
it's very funny, Perry. I want everyone to know this. Although he's my son, if I want to go to Jason's office, I have to make an appointment. If my wife wants to go to Jason's office, she has to make an appointment. Why? Because he understands how long it takes to do a visit. And I'm going to tell you, I think when your first table is 80% full, it's time for a second table, because you can't, as Jason would tell me, you can't charge people 6,000, 4,000, whatever it is you charge, and make them wait. You have to create that boutique type of practice. You want to expand upon that, son?
Yeah, so that's the thing, is I never want a patient to ever wait. So when they walk in, if their appointment's at 3, they're on the table at 3:03 at the absolute latest. Because I never want a patient to sign up for care, then they go to the front desk to schedule, and they're scheduled 3 weeks out. So hold on. They have all that time now to go home and think about, oh, I don't know if it's right for me. So you always want to get them on that same day or the very next day. So you have to have room. So always the table close, and then when it's full, you just get another table and you keep doing that. But
So I have a great idea. So what I'd like to do with your approval is this. In lieu of going through all the questions, what I'd like to do is I'd like to end with 2 more questions. And then what I'd like to do is I have a special video and a special slide, or a few slides, that nobody has ever seen before. And if you want to see how to set 2025 in motion, we're going to give you 25 things live that you're going to see how to do this in rapid fire. And so if possible, I don't know what your schedules are like. I know you're traveling. I know a lot of things as we get closer. With your approval, if we can set it up, what I'd like to do is maybe next Tuesday night, same bat time, same bat station, and do this in like a part 2. Is that okay? If your schedules allow, and we would do another Zoom meeting and finish the rest of the questions. But let's end with 2 questions, do a part 2 next week, and then I could show some things that you've never seen before. And this is directed especially to our family of doctors. But guess what? Even if you're not part of our family, you're going to dig it. Is that cool?
Well, I have a better suggestion.
Okay.
I'll answer one more question with my son.
Okay.
And then I'll tell you why. If we're going to do it next Tuesday,
yeah,
and I'll make myself available. And then, because I know you had 15 questions that I saw them questions coming in to you, because my phone would say question.
Yeah.
So we'll do one more. You'll show the video, and for those that want, we'll market it, and we'll continue this, because there's so much I haven't even discussed tonight. There's so much more to review. There's so much more to discuss. There are so many more research studies. I didn't get into the Gehring study. I didn't get to the Mark Curry study. I didn't get the Puglisi study. I didn't get to the Opel study. Or what about the Apfel study? I mean, there are so many studies and I'll tell you why the study is important. Don't ever let an insurance company tell you it's not medically necessary. And I'll tell you what else I'll do, Perry. One of the things that we'll do in part 2, we'll talk about how to build your PI practice. And I'm going to show you some of the settlements that have been taking place when you're able to diagnose disc and bulge. And I'll tell you what I will also do for all of my clients, okay? And for people that come to the event, I will share this with you because it's going to show them what a disc and bulge case is worth. And I'll give you, not even a teaser tonight, but if I tell you, if you saw the economics, see, attorneys, doctors, what they want from you, doctors, is can you create a valuability to their case? And if you can show them that you can create valuability to their case, then I'm going to tell you what, you will get more PI patients as well. So part 2, Perry, great idea, because I'll tell you settlements. I mean, I have it in front of me. New York, 50,000. New York, 1.3 million. California, 550,000. Louisiana, 128,000. Georgia, 1 million. These are verdicts for bulged or herniated disc, doctors. This is very powerful. But what I'll do is, for those that come to the event or for my clients, I will share this with you. that you can show attorneys to build your practice. That's what we're here, but only if you're here for part 2.
I love it. Obviously, one of the fun parts of what we do is everything we do is unscripted, unedited, and a lot of it is unplanned. But guess what? There's a synergy. There's a mind meld. There is basically a concerted effort to bring out the best in all of you. So let's dive into the last question. And guess what? Then I'm going to blow your minds because I'm going to show you the game plan for 2025 of which tools you can use to set the course in motion. Never shown before, dedicated for all of you. Here's the last question, and then I'll dive right into that last part. So here's the last question for tonight. Okay, so this is interesting. I know you teach the best cash model for spinal decompression, neuropathy, and knee cases. In my area, insurance still reimburses pretty good. Would you accept patients with it? Very interesting question. Dr. K?
Well, you know what? The answer is, let me explain to you something, doctors. The answer is maybe. Maybe. Because I'll give you an example. If you, it depends which state you're in, but if you have a state that in Florida, for example, insurance is going to pay you $28 a visit. Now, but one of the things I never do, doctors, I don't like to turn people away because you'll get people that I call them, they're tire kickers. Do you take insurance? And my answer is maybe, because it depends what your insurance. Give you an example. Major League Baseball pays 100%. PI, I'll take PI insurance. However, there are some states, I'll give you an example, like Arkansas, still pays a very good price. But remember this, doctors, no insurance company pays 100%. So would I be on a, let's say hypothetically, on a $6,000 case, if I know the insurance company's going to pay me $3,000, I can say, listen, your insurance company will pay, I would say that in these words, no insurance company pays 100%. We will take your insurance, we will bill your insurance, but you'll be responsible for the other half, which is $3,000. However, if your insurance doesn't make payment, you will be responsible for the rest. It's your job to fight with the insurance company. It's your job to chase insurance companies. I'm going to tell you something. No different doctors that you're on this Zoom meeting tonight, learning how to make more money. Blue Cross and Blue Shield is having another Zoom meeting, telling their people how not to pay you money. Remember, you're in the business of making money, but they're in the business of making money. They don't make money by giving you money. So they will do everything. And the people that deny your claims, they're not doctors. And how do you overcome them? With research, with education, with knowledge. And that's what it's all about, doctors. So the answer is, I'm excited, Perry, for part 2. And why don't you bring that on? Because you know what's on tonight, Perry, right now, that I got to see the end of?
What's on?
The St. John's basketball game.
Oh, that's right. They're playing Xavier, I think.
Yes. I gave you my night.
I think they're playing Xavier. Yeah.
They are.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Absolutely. So I'll tell you what. So I want to show you something here real quick. Hopefully this will come up. And obviously you can see the other questions that we weren't able to get to, but we'll get to them
We
next
have
week.
it next Tuesday.
Yeah, you'll join us Saturday, January 25th, which is about 2.5 weeks. And I will tell you this, historically, the greatest decisions I've ever made a lot of times was just simply I trusted my heart. I followed my heart. If you're able to secure a seat, right now there's only 3 seats left. So obviously, I have a feeling by the time I get to the finish line here, there may be no seats left, but life favors the action takers. It's the best $249 you've ever invested in yourself. And I have a feeling that if you're able to get a seat, then you come Monday morning will be so empowered. And I don't care if you've been in practice 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. We have people on the Zoom meeting that are part of our family that are in their 80s. Yes, in their 80s, kicking butt. Some of them will be with us that weekend.
God bless you, God bless you,
cool.
Dr. Delgado, and your lovely daughter, who I love to death. But I'm going to tell you, Perry, one of the things they have to realize, the price is, to get on the property is the cost. Then you'll have the chef who cooks for the president of the United States will make your lunch. Then you will get a minimum of $1,000 of materials that you'll be able to go home with, from books to videos to I mean, put extra room in your suitcase. That's all I'm going to tell you. And it'll be the best one day you've ever spent. Money back guarantee. Go ahead, PB.
Can you see the screen that I have in front of you real quick?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. So I'm going to show you something here, super high speed. And this was Dr. Kaplan's vision. One of the things Dr. Kaplan wanted to do when he says more is more, that's just not some token BS cliche. That is real. So what we did was this. During the holidays, and it is right now, it is actually in the process of being completed. It should be completed this weekend. Dr. Kaplan said to me these words. He said, we've got more tools, more ammunition, more content that more people have not seen before. And I would love, love, love to share it with our family. So basically what we decided to do is to go into the archives of all the national spinal decompressions that we taught going back to 2012, taught at Parker University, taught at National University, taught at Life University, and then some neuropathy master classes, some private trainings, some private Zoom meetings, some closed door meetings, some master classes, and we committed those to 36 private videos. And as our gift to all of our family of doctors this year, all of you will receive access to these videos on a timeline. So you're constantly being empowered. And my favorite part is a lot of you have never seen it before. And I'm going to show you a super quick intro. Hopefully you could see it. And then we're going to go into something that you've never seen before.
Audio is not good, Per.
In the chiropractic and medical industry, teaching you the secrets of success, one lesson at a time. Never before seen lectures brought to you on demand. This is the plug and play video series giving you one research study, one tool, one idea to help your patients achieve success, one disc at a time.
Nobody does what we do, Perry.
Introducing Dr. Eric Kaplan and the secrets to success with research.
That's me.
That is you. So whether they could hear it or not, when you get it live, you'll hear the intro, and we're just finishing the outro, and it's going to be absolutely spectacular. It's completely free. It's our gift
to our clients,
to empower, to our client doctors, our family of doctors, DCOA, and more. And when we're at boot camp in 2 weeks, we'll actually give you a little, a little overview, even deeper, so you'll actually be able to see the kind of the chapters or the content and more. And I want to show. So one of the things Dr. Kaplan asked before we go is he asked me. He said the most common question that he receives is when doctors come and they, a lot of times they'll say this question. They'll say, "Gee, obviously, I know about This Said This America. I know about Concierge Coach. I know about all you guys. Nobody has a better track record. Nobody's bigger. Nobody's better. But what do I get?" So with your approval, doctors, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, and this is for our family of doctors. Some you know, some you've never seen before. I'm going to go through this super quick as a reminder of what's in the pipeline for you in 2025. Number one, as you know, you get all our brands. We never charge an additional penny. Our brands are like our children. We give them to you. There's no upselling. All of the brands are specific to you. You can use them in any which way, shape, or form. And when patients organically search, we have the largest amount of organic searches because we're 20 pages deep into Google, because we have the largest footprint in the history of the profession for all of our brands. For the doctors that are able to secure a seat, if you're able to secure a seat for, as you know, our boot camps are completely free. They are nuts and bolts, meat and potatoes. They go from 9 to 5, but we've never gotten out of one at 5 o'clock. It's done at our corporate office. They're completely free. That is actually our beautiful, drop dead, gorgeous, full glass corporate center. They get all of our training manuals. They get a 1,000-page manual on CD, which is an addition. As you know, actually, this is besides the 800-page book. This was actually the precursor to the book. Dr. Kaplan wrote this. It was the most 1,000 pages in spinal decompression. We give it to the doctors on CD, and then we give them the actual training manual. The training manual, again, is over 200 pages where we build the doctor celebrity, the America's Best series of neuropathy, of spinal disc, of best non-surgical knee doctors. We create your celebrity. We create your power. We create you as the go-to doctor in your market. And then in addition to that, what we do, oh yeah, is, I know, I'm going to go fast. We do all your forms for you. All your financial forms are basically created by you with our guidance, suggestions. Our graphic department creates them all for you. We give them and teach you how to create the patient folders. We give you your business cards, your health passes, all your ads, flyers, postcards, magazines, and so much more are created for you. They're completely free. There's no upselling. We give these all to you. We give you all the medical research studies. We give you our proprietary TDC training therapy booklet, which is specific on how to set angles, how to set the table, how to communicate this, what verbiage to use, what research studies. We give you the app. The app we had created for you. The app is completely free. It's for our Discenters American Doctor. Yes, you can put the app on your phone. Yes, you can give the app to all your patients. It shows you doctors in the biggest light. We give you our toll-free vanity patient hotline, which is our toll-free number and web listing with the incredible endorsement of the King of Kings, the incredible, the one, the only Dr. Norman Shealy, MD, PhD, neurosurgeon, who gave his 100% blessing. And I don't know if you caught that before when you were watching the videos before. One of the training videos is our interviews with our private interviews with Dr. Norman Shealy. And those to me are worth everything that we're about. And we give those to you for free for our family of doctors, so much more. But as I said, more is more. We do a free radio show for you. We build your power in your market. We're constantly putting a greater spotlight on you. We now added in 2025 a professional studio session where we bring in one of the greatest photographers. I kid you not. I mean, he's done rock bands, he's done celebrities, he's done sports teams. And for those who are coming on January 24th, you're in for a treat. We give you tremendous website and social media guidance and support. Obviously, we have certain vendors that are exclusive to us, and they'll create these things for you. All of our patient management, educational tools, our conversion videos. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Everything is done for you. Our exclusive client Zoom trainings. Yeah, we came out with a whole new series in 2025 of private Zoom trainings just for our family doctors only. Those are generally called Thursday Night Live or Wednesday Night Wonderfuls this year. The official training certificates to build your credibility, your authority, your power. We want your room to be full of your DCOA brands because we want one thing. When a patient walks through the door, they want to know that you're the best. We have to be diligent in that, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel. We create your press releases for you for free, your top doctor awards, and so much more. Brand new in 2025 are series of video packages, which include the 3 Bs, the best brand, the best doctor, the best marketing videos. We created these in Atlanta, Georgia a couple of months ago, and they're spectacular. And they're exclusive to our family of doctors. All the financial compliance manuals and video packages, we bought these for you. They're free. Yes, we have the best in the business who actually put together programs for you, which were already purchased for you exclusively to be able to make sure that your fee schedules are in alignment, compliant for your area, your demographic, and then of course the 3 C's, the capture, conversion, the close videos, and then a whole new set of videos called the 3 E's. Yeah, wait till you see these videos. The education, the energy, and the enthusiasm. It was one of my favorite videos we ever shot. Dr. Kaplan, if you see me laughing, I was actually laughing my head off in the last video because, you know, he makes me laugh so much. But at the end of the day, there is so much gold, content, tools, materials. This is all in the pipeline. If you're part of our family of doctors, you have so much to look forward to this year. And then, of course, giving you all the tools, the brands, all the insignias, the pins, all the swag, some of the stuff that Dr. Kaplan was wearing. And yes, our official white clinic jacket, which we do at boot camp, to, in essence, give you the team uniform. This is all included. And then last but not least, where is it? Oh, there it is. Let me go back real quick. Did I lose it? Oh, here, how about now? There it is. I'm going so fast. I hope I didn't lose it. Oh, let me see. How about now? Super. I know it's so much, right? There it is. All your graphic design is included, doesn't cost you a penny. Our award-winning team will make all your materials for you so you can hit the ground running, specific to you. That's why we take your headshots, and that's why we create these tools for you. And then last but not least, 100% access to us via phone or email for guidance, support, questions, and more. And a lot of it, as you know, are questions that you saw. So, you know, oh my gosh, we got just so much stuff to do, and I'm so happy that we were able to do what we did, and I hope a mainstay of you join us next Tuesday night with a whole new series of questions, a whole new set of new stuff, maybe some new surprises. And listen, at the end of the day, life favors the ones that see it, want it, are driven, are motivated. And there's nobody on the planet that has motivated me more than Dr. Kaplan. Ask anybody who's been in his life. And listen, you know, I know it sounds like a cliche, but it's not unless you know him. There's nobody on the planet that I know has changed more lives in this business. There's nobody on this planet
Thank you.
given the doctors the tools, the energy, the focus, the drive, the desire, the hunger, the passion, the love. And ready for this? I hope you're sitting down for this one. The patience. Yeah. For a
Not my
guy
strong suit.
who, let me tell you something. More patience than I've ever seen with anybody. Yeah, yeah. A heart bigger than anybody. Oh my God. Just as good as it gets. And you ain't seen nothing yet. So if I'm you, I don't care what it costs. I don't care what it takes. I don't care if I have to be John Candy and get in a plane and Amtrak, take a train, take a Greyhound bus, hitch a ride. I don't care what it takes. I don't care if I have to take 3 planes to get there. January 25th is the day. And as you know, last but not least, before we go, so many of you have already secured seats that were never on these Zoom trainings. What you did was you picked up the American Chiropractic. You saw it, you bought a seat. You picked up Chiropractic Economics. You saw it, you bought a seat. You picked up Dynamic Chiropractic. You saw it, you bought a seat. You got an email. You saw it, you bought a seat. Or if you're a friend of Dr. G. Forrest Edwards, yes, in Alabama, you're just a buddy of his in Hoover, Alabama, and he referred somebody who bought a seat. And that is the greatest thank you. It's the doctors like Dr. Coleman in Ascension that I'm so proud. Dr. Schultz, Dr. Lincoln, welcome to the family, brother. You and your incredible wife. Dr. Nguyen. I mean, as I go through the list, Dr. Ben Mitchell, thank you for my favorite hoodies. You are as good as it gets, doctor. And listen, it is, you know, if it is, you know, I hope to be as old as Mick Jagger and to practice with your Rolling Stone shirt on. But if you go through this list of our family, Dr. Sprouse, welcome to the family. Dr. Delgado, yeah, baby, love it. These are all, I mean, you can go through the list, Connor. I mean, it just, Dr. Holt and Dr. Helmendock, welcome to the family. Nobody's got a bigger following. Nobody has more raving fans. Nobody has more passionate doctors that are committed. Dr. Thostrup, I mean, the list goes on. Dr. Cranford, Dr. Hillman. Oh my gosh. Ring of Honor, baby. We have so many new doctors we're putting in the Ring of Honor this year at the national certification. The list goes on and on. And Dr. Pridget, by the way, BTW, thank you, thank you, thank you for the greatest pecans in the world from Valdosta, Georgia. You did it again. You blew my mind. You sent out.
I didn't get any.
He did. I'm holding it because I haven't seen you. So
I didn't get any.
I have. He
Good.
sent them to
You
me.
can take his calls.
Dr. Shoemaker.
I want to finish with one thing.
You
Perry.
bet, 100%.
You know, when we talk about a new year, I want to talk about a new you. And I want to talk about trying something new. Because, you know, we're going to be talking about knees. We're going to be talking about neuropathy. We're going to be talking about decompression. We're going to be talking about the future. But, you know, I'll never forget what Father Yanatelli taught me and he said to me, he said, never be afraid to try something new. To try something new. He says, remember, amateurs built the Ark. Professionals built the Titanic. and I remember that to this day because, you know, there are so many chiropractors that are trying to create something new. But you know what? Bone, nerve, and disc is not new. Stay focused to what you do and the future. The world is at your fingertips. Nobody can do it better than you. God bless. Happy New You. See you next week.